Hi, my name is Mike Riggs. I'm a professional 3D artist and I would like to take you through some of the features of Radeon Pro software Crimson ReLive Edition. What is Radeon Pro ReLive? It is a screen recording software which comes for free with AMD's Radeon Pro software and allows any artist to create stunning 60 frames per second recordings for demos, tutorials and to share with clients or other team members. Radeon Pro ReLive is easy to use and uses cutting-edge technology, both software and hardware optimized for Radeon Pro graphics cards, to create the best-looking screen recordings that I have ever seen. Let's get started. Well, we already have, as I am using Radeon Pro ReLive right now to record this session. To access Radeon Pro ReLive, press the Alt and Z key or Z key, depending on where you're from, and this pops up our overlay. And as you can see, I've been recording for 1 minute and 5 seconds. So let's go through these 4 icons. We have a recording here, which I can stop and start the recording. We have screenshots, which is great because not all screen recording software does screenshots and not all screenshot software does recordings. And remember, everything that I'm showing you is completely free. Moving on, the yellow icon is instant replay. You can set Radeon Pro ReLive to constantly record 1 minute or more of whatever action that you are doing on the screen, and this can be incredibly useful if you're trying to capture animation elements, etc., to send through to team members or to clients, or if your digital content creation software crashes, it can capture that moment and you have it available for you to send away to a client. So this is a really useful feature. And we also have settings, and in our settings we have our microphone toggle, so we can have it on as it is now, and we can also switch it off as you've just seen because the sound died and it's back on again. Moving on, we have our toolbar position. We can set that to where we want in the screen. So top, middle or bottom. We can record our desktop, switch that on or off. Our instant replay, we can toggle that on and off. We also have our indicator, which we can, if I place that up here, you can see it just gives a very quick overlay of, at the moment it's doing the record, microphone's on, and we're at 2 minutes and 40. And if I move that down to this corner here, it doesn't impact any interactivity, it's just a visual overlay only. So press Alt Z to bring that back up. And also we can switch on our camera. So there we go, hello. And as you can see, we can move that through. We've got an indication of where we want our camera to be, and everything is very nice and quick. That's a default position that I have set, and the camera is now off again. So I hope you can see that Radeon Pro ReLive has potential to become a major part of your everyday workflow. It's low maintenance, easy to use, and could become fantastic for all your screen recording needs. So let's see Radeon Pro ReLive in action with a digital content creation application. In this case, we are going to look at the latest version of Cinema 4D. Here is a scene that I have set up. In the top view, I've got a just standard viewport window with Cinema 4D with color, display, and depth of field, and all the settings on. And in the bottom, I have a window using AMD's Radeon Pro Render, which is a fantastic GPU and CPU based rendering software, which is now shipping with Cinema 4D R19 and is available for Maya, 3ds Max and Blender, along with a host of other content creation applications. So as we can see, I just have a keyed up animation and we're just going through this quite quickly. If I just move this into a default camera, you can see that using the Radeon Pro WX9100 I have installed in this machine, I am able to get really good responses while AMD Pro Render is running in the bottom screen. But also, I hope you can see that using Radeon Pro ReLive, everything that is recorded will be captured and there will be minimal slowdown. If I just stop Pro Render, and we just enlarge this single view, everything becomes really nice and buttery smooth, especially if I go to my camera and just set the animation. In my testing with Radeon Pro ReLive, I found that there is hardly any difference between what I am seeing right now in terms of live capture performance and in the final video that I get, which I can send out to other team members to make sure that they're happy with the animation. The other thing to bear in mind is, if I just open up Task Manager here, is that the AMD ReLive hosted application elements are taking hardly any resources, which is fantastic, because a lot of screen recording software can be quite intensive and can slow down the UI experience, especially if you're doing tutorials, and especially if you're doing heavy work within the digital content creation apps, such as showing particle systems, heavy duty rendering, everything like that. The screen recording software can get in the way, but with AMD Radeon Pro ReLive, that is not an issue. So I hope you can see that Radeon Pro ReLive is going to be a useful tool to aid you with recordings. And remember, everything that I'm showing you is completely free. So while we can access the main features of AMD Radeon Pro ReLive just by pressing Alt-Z or Z, depending on where you're from, and we can go into our main setting elements here, it is worth noting that there is much more granular control available for Radeon Pro ReLive, and this is accessed via the AMD Radeon Pro Settings application, which controls all of our graphics cards information. So as we can see, we are running a Radeon Pro WX9100, so we have a lot of power, but also handily within here we have the ReLive settings. So if I just extend this out, as you can see, it's a very nice and very slick application. It scales to the screen. We're recording on 4K. So let's just take a quick look through some of the core settings. So ReLive is on. We're record desktop enabled, very similar to our overlay. We can decide which specific folder we want to save our videos to. And we can set all our hotkeys for various elements. I find, to be fair, that the Radeon Pro ReLive defaults are pretty good. Video capture and audio capture devices are both available to be changed if you have more than one connected to your machine. Record microphone and push to talk. With this enabled, you can decide to press a key which enables the microphone. Again, this may be very useful if you are wanting to record specific bits of audio or you're in a conversation with somebody. Again, really useful, really professional little tool that is available with Radeon Pro ReLive. So if we move on to our recording tab, here we've got recording profiles. I've got this set to custom. We're recording at our native 4K. We can set recording bitrate to be up to 100 megabits per second, which I am, because luckily I have the Radeon Pro WX9100 graphics card. All Radeon Pro cards are going to work very well with ReLive, so the bitrate is dependent upon that. Lower bitrate means potentially you could have a smaller file if you want to send to a client or a team member. That's going to be something that you decide based on your needs rather than have the software tell you what you should be doing. Recording at frame rate, we've got 30 or 60. Most screen recording software can only do 30, so it's fantastic to have this available, especially with a lot of the new viewports and digital content creation applications being so quick. Being able to capture the detail with them with a 60 frame recording speed is fantastic. We have encoding type AVC. We've also got encoding type HEVC, which is otherwise known as H.265. I'm recording in AVC because I want to edit this footage, but HEVC is a much more modern codec, and it allows a much smaller file size than compared with AVC or with other screen recording software that you may be familiar with. So especially if you're using, say, the instant replay feature a lot, you may decide that having it set to HEVC might be better, just so that the file sizes are a lot smaller. And again, going with instant replay, I've got my instant replay time set to 2 minutes, but you can set that to whatever you need, up to 20 minutes. And again, if we just look, if you set that back up to 20 minutes, you're given an indication of how much the estimated file size. So again, all these little features show that Radeon Pro ReLive is professional software because it's giving you the information that you need to understand what ReLive will deliver to you in terms of files and any performance hit, which, as we saw earlier with the Cinema 4D demo, is marginal at best. So here we have a couple more overlay controls. We can show our system info. We can decide where we want that. If we want that at the top right, we can show our camera. We can switch that on and off. Hello again. And we can show our camera on screen, camera opacity. If we wanted to, say, drop that back. Again, all really little handy professional tools. And we can also set a custom camera location. Now this is really useful, say for example, if we just open up a blank Cinema 4D page. Say for example, the area that I want to talk about is directly under where my camera is. If I go back into my settings, I can define a unique starting and X and Y position for my camera. So if I say put that to 500, move it back over there, and I can also set my Y and move myself wherever I need rather than just the standard 4 corners that the camera tool allows me to do. So that is really useful. Camera size, we can again set that to small, medium, or large, but nobody needs to see my bald head that big. And so show custom overlay. You may have noticed up in the top corner, just going to switch the camera off, that there is this lovely Radeon Pro ReLive graphic. That is an image which I have created a transparent PNG, so all the elements that are coming through that I want to come through are there. It's not a big ugly white rectangle, and you can define that image to be whatever you want. So this can be useful for if you're creating branded presentations, if you are creating presentations of work to go to a client, you can use their brand, and again, a really useful, really handy feature to have. And here, just with the more, we just get little feedback elements, which again, all really handy, really professional, and at the end of the day, really simple and easy to use. I mean, I'm really enjoying my time with Radeon Pro ReLive for my screen recording software, and I hope that you do too. My name is Mike Riggs, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.